Anime. For those of you who don't know, and that's probably all of you because we're new, we are Oh No Anime. We're a podcast local to Tampa. You can check us out on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all that. If you like this panel, if you like it, you guys know us? Or
no, yay, other YouTube reviewers.
Yeah. Okay. That's
I want to.
I like the hype. I like
you
the
might
hype.
know us from our video about Thunderbolt and
our first like actual popular video is about a Taiwanese puppet show.
Oh, weren't they making that into an anime?
Yeah, it's super cool.
It is an anime with puppets.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that.
Yeah,
we can talk about that after the panel. Anyways, guys.
Anyway, yeah, we're No Anime. I'm Patrick.
I'm Mark.
And yeah, this is our guy.
Yeah, let's get
real quick because we only have 50 minutes to do this. The first thing before we get into telling you guys how to find out if something's fake is why should you care? Now, as anime fans, when you purchase something anime related like a t-shirt, you're probably doing it to support the show or a character you like, right? Well, the thing is, even though your bootleg shirt might have been $10 and might, tell somebody, hey, I like the show, and you might make a new friend, you're really hurting the industry. Everybody here likes graphs, right?
Yeah, we know hitting you guys with the graph right off the start probably.
We have two of them in a row. But this graph is super important. This is a graph put out by the Association of Japanese Animations, which is an association made of a bunch of people who work in the anime industry, executives too, not animators. These are like presidents, executive producers, stuff like that. They get these data through questionnaires, through their own revenue and public data sets. And if you guys can't read it, I can't really see it from there. That green section in the middle, the big one, that's how much money is made from merchandising. That's the biggest one. Now, this graph in particular is, it's in all anime-related markets. So light novels, manga, anime, concert tickets even, pachinko, overseas revenue. This is everything that might fall anywhere near the realm of 2D animation. Now, this next one, while the green section is smaller, I think is even more important. This is in a limited sense. This means this is the direct revenue for animation studios, for Kyoto Animation, for Trigger, for PA Works, for Toei. That green section, while it's not as overwhelmingly huge as the broad sense, it's still really big. Merchandising is super important. Now, the bottom line for this section is that every dollar you spend on bootleg merchandise is a dollar that could have gone to a sequel of your favorite show or towards food for your favorite creator or animator.
Yeah, and you guys know how frustrating it is to have a really favorite show that doesn't get a sequel or gets left off on a cliffhanger. Merchandising.
Yes, very good. There's
Bakano's
more
a good
books,
example.
You can buy the books.
Thank God they're back in the US.
You can blame poor merchandise sales for that. So merchandise is how anime makes its money. Pure and simple.
Another thing not on this slide is it also begets new or different merchandise. If you have a side character that you really like that hasn't gotten a figure or hasn't gotten a keychain, well, buying bootleg merchandise isn't helping your case whatsoever. So that was really quick, about 5 minutes. I think we're doing all right on pretty much why you're here, why you should be here, why you should care. So without any further ado, let's move on to the meat of the panel here, is how to spot a fake or bootleg. We've divided this into 3 sections for y'all. The first one is apparel. Who here likes wearing anime stuff at a convention or just, all right, good, that's pretty much everyone. I like you guys.
Who here has been harassed at their workplace for wearing anime apparel?
Yeah. I work at a law firm and I still make it work. Even if I have to wear my Love Live Umi Face shirt under my button-down business shirt, I still do it.
We used to have t-shirt day. I work at a call center, and up until recently, they were like, guys, you're not allowed to wear anything but our workplace's shirts.
Do what you want.
Yeah.
My average coworker is 50 years old.
I know that feeling. It's rough, but we make it work.
Let's get into apparel, guys. This is a big one for you.
So the first one, when you're looking to make sure that it's not fake, is to check the quality. Something that's obviously screen printed, there's a good chance that it's not legitimate. Bleeding colors are bad unless it's a stylistic choice, which should be fairly obvious. If it's already faded when you're buying it, it's
Pixelation
bad.
and artifacting is another one. You guys have all ordered something from Redbubble or Society 6 or something that's come, and maybe the fidelity of it is a little less good than you think. That's a good indication that it's not real.
Like Mark said, the pixelation is a big one. A lot of places in And conventions especially will take fan art and blow it up and put it on a t-shirt, which not only doesn't give the licensors any money, doesn't give the artist any money. You guys probably use Tumblr and DeviantArt. That really sucks.
Yeah. And unfortunately, it's rampant. It happens way too much, and it's embarrassingly easy to spot if you're looking for it.
Yeah, there's a lot of it. Now, the second one for apparel seems kind of obvious, but honestly might not be. You guys need to check for a tag on the shirt. The first thing you want to look for on a tag is the name or logo of a popular Japanese company that makes apparel. Kaspa is the #1 creator of licensed Japanese t-shirts. You can get them on AmiAmi, you can get them on Amazon. They are the big ones. They work with Shonen Jump, they work with all the major anime studios. Beyond that, there's also Uniqlo. That's a big one. They're actually here in the U.S. They just opened a shop in Disney Springs like 2 weeks ago. They do a lot of Shonen Jump stuff.
They do a lot of licensed anime merch, and it's
a lot of One Piece and Naruto and Star Wars, my favorite anime.
Yeah.
So road trip?
Road trip, yeah. Tomorrow probably, actually.
Yeah.
Not tomorrow. We have more Metrocon to do.
Yeah, another good way to tell, especially with Japanese merchandise, especially apparel, is not sold in American sizes. It is usually one size smaller than American sizes, and it does not go above XL. Now, there are exceptions. There are retailers in the US that sell officially licensed English language Japanese stuff, and that's like Hot Topic and stuff like that. We'll get there.
We have a slide for that.
But that is a really good way to tell. The other good thing is that if you know it's not official art from the show, it's more than often a bootleg. There are the rare exception where like famous artists will do their take and they'll put it on a t-shirt.
I know Crunchyroll has gotten like Boomslang and people like that, popular English webcomic creators who do stuff.
But if it's something you saw on Pixiv last week or DeviantArt, it's not real.
Now, the second part for checking a tag, like we said, check the creator, look for Kaspa especially, or Google the name if you see it and don't recognize, is look for the logo of the show. This is actually from one of my own shirts that I wear to work on the weekends from Princess Precure. Normally you'll see the logo there, sometimes in English, sometimes in Japanese, but beyond the logo, it'll be the official logo of course, but underneath will be a copyright message. Sometimes in English, sometimes in Japanese. It says Toei Animation. They normally do this, and sometimes they'll have that terrible, weird cat with a sombrero. Any Toei fans? No, just me.
I don't think there are any left. There you go. We got one.
I appreciate it. But all right. So beyond the tag, we I almost didn't do this, and I feel really, really bad for the next slide, but. I felt like we had to. I made last night. I came here after work and I made a vendor hall of shame. These are pictures I took last night at Metrocon. This is not Metrocon's fault. In fact, after I took these pictures, I reported them to security, and they were very helpful in getting with me and helping get these out of the vendor hall. These are
and we went back through today, and they had followed through.
Yeah.
Metrocon definitely is committed to not having bootlegs, but
these are bootleg shirts that are here at Metrocon.
I've seen those guys at like a ton of other cons.
Oh yeah, they go to a lot of Florida cons.
We're going to hit a lot of Florida cons, and they're very aggressive.
Very aggressive. Don't make eye contact.
Yeah,
so they won't let you go.
That's what hurts my feelings.
Like I said, it hurts me to do this. I didn't want to do this because these are probably some people trying to make an honest buck, but the buck is not honest here at all. Don't buy it. Report it, help Metrocon, help you guys as the consumer. Like I said, I saw these, I walked around, I went to one of the security guys, they were very helpful. The head of the vendor hall actually came out and said, walk with me to the booth, let me see it, and then she got rid of them. She said they actually have a lawyer who is also an exhibitionist.
He's a member of Nudist Beach.
He also has a vendor booth here who is going through and actively patrolling. So I said, help Metrocon. If you see something bad, report it.
Something that we'll touch on a lot during this panel, and is really the overarching moral of everything that we're talking about here, is when you buy a bootleg, not only are you taking money out of creators' pockets, which, you know, we're not trying to guilt you guys into like doing this.
Oh, I am.
If you like anime, then you usually would think that you're trying to like pay for
wanna
food that
support it.
goes on the table of someone that you really like.
Exactly.
And not only are you doing that, but you're also getting an inferior product for yourself because a lot of these times they're not as well made as something that you would be paying for that's legit. So you're hurting yourself and the entire industry every time that you buy a bootleg, and the best way to fight against that is just to educate yourself. Do we have a question over here?
Oh no, I was just gonna say preach.
Oh,
Preach.
yeah. All right. So let's
Luckily, on the flip side of the vendor hall of shame, I have handily added this brilliant. This is the best piece of art I've ever made in my life of places to buy legitimately. Now there are a lot more of these shops, but these are my favorites. First of all, you have Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll, while originally were pirates, funny story. They are completely legit now and have a really, really cool web store where they actually even have some American exclusive T-shirts and stuff like that. Crunchyroll is, yeah, exactly.
I
Here's
got
a
this from
great
Crunchyroll.
QR
This is official,
Yeah.
and it's really awesome.
They are a good store to buy legitimate anime apparel. Next up is Hot Topic. They aren't just goth anymore.
Yep.
They actually have a.
MCR is coming back, but you can still go buy anime stuff.
Thank you.
They have a really, really cool partnership once again with Crunchyroll, where they have a lot of the American exclusive stuff. If there's any JoJo fans in the crowd, they have some really, really cool JoJo Bizarre Adventure stuff. Right
Hot Topic's
stuff.
legit. I'm not gonna lie.
We
I
also
got
talked
stuff
about
from them. They got some
bringing
good
I
stuff.
made fun of them a lot in high school. Now they're cool.
Yeah.
Right Stuff Incorporated is a really good company. They're mostly for Blu-rays and DVDs, but they do have a lot of merch and a lot of apparel.
They're a great place to get miscellaneous stuff as well.
Now we talked about American exclusives on the left side here, but on the right side we have my favorite shop, Ami Ami. They are a Japanese store where you can buy a lot of Japanese exclusives. It even says on the site only for purchase in Japan, but that doesn't matter at all.
Yeah.
You can buy it with an American credit card. It charges you in yen, so you have a bit of it depends on your credit card. But you can buy in yen with no problem, and they ship it to the U.S. through EMS, DHL, or FedEx. No problem. They're super great. They don't charge you until it ships, which is really good.
Oh, thank God.
Just
Yeah.
don't cancel on them. Then Amico,
Yeah.
their mascot, gets very sad, and they ban your
They'll
account.
screw you up.
Amazon.co.jp is another fantastic one. They accept American credit cards or any foreign credit cards and will actually charge you in dollars if you ask. You can even search the website in English. I have a ridiculous amount of t-shirts from Amazon JP. We mentioned Uniqlo earlier in this section. We said there's one in Disney Springs there. They have a lot of really cool one-piece and Naruto shirts if you guys like that stuff.
Uniqlo is really cool because the same stuff that they're selling in Japan currently, they're also selling in the United States. They're pretty much just a worldwide unified market, so it's pretty cool. Yes?
A note about Amazon, make sure that if you are shopping on Amazon, that you do go to the Japanese website.
Yes.
As far as I can tell, it's a
Amazon.co.jp.
lot better moderated, the American site. You can still find some cool stuff, but there are so...
We'll actually get to
Okay,
US
because there are so
later.
many
We
things
have,
going through.
but like I said, we booked this into 3 sections. In the
Right.
figure section, we talk a lot about
Yeah.
Amazon. Question?
Yeah, just wondering. I know you're only talking about like merchandise, like on online and stuff, but
We do have a lot of stuff about buying stuff here in the event
Yeah.
as well.
yeah, I was gonna say here in the dealer's room.
Yeah.
Like, how do you know if it's fake?
We get to that a lot more in the figure section, but the main thing is research.
Yeah.
We'll get to that when we get there. We don't have a lot of time, so stay
Oh,
tuned.
okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
The last one on this slide is Loot Crate. Loot Crate, probably all of you have heard of it in some form. Just recently, I think
Loot Anime, their
Yeah.
anime offshoot, just partnered with Crunchyroll.
Once again.
And I have
Have a
gotten
ton of
them
exclusives.
since, I've been doing it since Crunchyroll partnered with them, and it's been absolutely fantastic. And every month you get a shirt, and it's completely exclusive to Loot Anime,
Or
which is
hat.
pretty sweet.
I had a really
Yeah,
cool
or
JoJo
hat,
hat that I'm
yeah.
really sad I missed. I kind of need to buy
It's
that
a
soon.
really cool service and definitely worth the money.
Before we move on to the next section, miscellaneous merchandise. Anybody have any more questions about buying anime apparel and making sure it's not fake? All right, cool,
Let's
good
do it.
stuff. So next up, I feel really weird having our second category being miscellaneous, but it felt like the right thing to do. These are your keychains, phone cases, wall scrolls, badges, pins, all of that stuff, etc., etc.
Glassware.
Glassware.
Weird stuff.
That's where
like
it's
that.
weird, but
It happens.
so first up, touched on this in the previous section, and we'll touch on it again in the next one. Is check for the copyright. There is a big difference here between Japanese copyright and U.S. copyright, but luckily for you guys, we have 2 examples here. On the left here is a keychain that I got in some ridiculous Japanese magazine from Charlotte. Any Charlotte fans? PA Works? All right, that's fair, that's fair. It was, the end was a little
Yeah.
But for a Japanese copyright, you'll normally see the name of the overall production company, then the name of the animation studio, and then the name of the project. Japan likes to make these like tiny, almost shell companies for every anime they make. If you ever look at the opening credits, you'll see like made by the Kurobass Association or something like that. So those copyrights will always be there. If you don't recognize one of the names on the copyright, Google it. See if they're legit. Google will definitely have answers.
Google anything that you're skeptical about. We all have smartphones. We should use them.
For English ones, you'll see a lot of the time. This is an old Fully Cooley wallet.
This is an old Fully Cooley wallet that is my wallet.
Yes.
It is post Funimation acquiring the rights to Fully Cooley, so the text is super small in there, but basically it says Gainax owns the rights and licensed by Funimation Entertainment in the States. That is what you will usually see on American goods. You'll see not only the owners from Japan, also the people that licensed it in the United States. So that is definitely a good thing to look at.
Yeah, look for copyright. You think that little small things, like the little keychains, I've got probably 30 million of them on my book bag. People at work hate that. They don't understand it in the elevator. It's true. But even then, a lot of the time, they'll have stamped on the back of their head a little copyright. Look for that. Sometimes, not very often, but it'll be on the packaging. Every once in a while, look for there. If there's no copyright whatsoever, it's probably not legitimate. Very, very good rule there.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of ways to tell fake, actual, like physical, weird merchandise like this, especially wall scrolls, apart, other than the copyright.
Not to mention the fact that it's so inexpensive to make bootlegs of that it is really hard
Look
sometimes.
for the official art again.
Yeah, official art is another
is key.
thing. Unfortunately, official art is a little bit more dubious with keychains, especially because you see a lot of officially produced like chibi keychains of like very stylized versions of characters from the shows that you love.
Gachapon machines.
But that is actually, the Charlotte one is one of those very specific kinds of keychains, and they
Probably should have
usually
the
are big enough to have a copyright on the back. So if they don't, be skeptical. Another thing to be skeptical of is if stuff is being sold out of packaging. That goes for everything here, but especially miscellaneous merchandise and figures, which we'll get to later. Be wary if it is not being sold in
Be
packaging.
very, very careful.
Yes.
Now, for merchandise, there's this really kind of weird gray area on fan-made, or as Japanese call it, doujin merchandise. Japan is very unlike the U.S. in that they kind of respect and like when people make derivative works. There's this giant thing called a comiket, short for comic market, where it's literally people selling fanzines. It's like almost, I'm trying to think of the word, but it's institutionalized fan fiction almost. And
Yes.
this goes for a lot of stuff. You can get figures like this. Fanzines is the big one. You can get mugs and stuff like that. But even then, you have to be very careful. Here in the US, we have Etsy and Redbubble are the big ones where you can find fan-made creations. But a lot of the time, we spoke about this briefly earlier, you'll find where somebody has made fan art on Deviant or Tumblr or any site like that, and they'll take it, somebody will go, oh wow, that looks really cool. I bet I could put it on a t-shirt and sell it. And then they take somebody's art and sell it.
Best way to combat against that is every time you buy from Etsy or Redbubble, obviously you have a seller page that you can look at. Go to the seller page, read their reviews, read about their previous sales. That's a really good way to look at it. And if you're still skeptical, cross-reference it against the actual art. If you know who the artist is, make sure that that's who's saying, who's selling it. So
This is a very big one for
Redbubble is especially bad with that because not only will you find other people's art on there, but you'll also find unlicensed official art reproduced on merchandise on Redbubble.
When we ran through this last night, you also mentioned Society 6, and I forgot to.
Yeah,
add
that's
that.
another one. It's a little bit more regulated, and there's a lot of like actual artists on there selling their stuff, but people can still get through. So if you're ordering from a place like the Society 6, be extra skeptical, honestly, because Society 6 stuff is freaking really expensive. So be extra wary about stuff you're spending on.
There's a third logo on this site on this slide for a website called booth.pm. Does anybody know that website? Cool, you guys are about to learn something really cool. Does anybody know the website Pixiv?
Yes.
Yes. So Pixiv.net actually, just like DeviantArt, has a service for its artists where you can order prints, but they do a lot more than that. They allow their artists to make phone cases, make mugs, make keychains, a whole bunch of really cool stuff. It's built into the website, and that website is called booth.pm. If you have a favorite pixel artist, check for the link. It's like this weird like bunny icon. You can click on it. And they are really, really good about that. They do ship to the US except for 18 plus. You'll have to use a proxy for that. And they do accept American credit cards. I've gotten my last like 6 or 7 phone cases from there because I probably follow 30 million pixel artists. Really, really cool stuff. Now, of course, we have to end this section with another unfortunate vendor hall of shame. This was the one that motivated me to go get one of the security people because this booth unfortunately sold nothing but fakes. These are really bad. The wallets. Finding a legitimate, real, non-bootleg wallet is really hard. Good luck doing that without going to a Japanese website, honestly.
Body pillow honestly would have set me off because I know that's exclusive.
Body pillows are especially egregious, but honestly,
This one, I'll get to this one in a second.
Wallets
This is a really funny one.
Wallets are
bad.
Be assured that if you're holding a wallet, especially here, it's fake.
Look, once again, look for the copyright on this, and for things like these keychains, you'll see a lot of random English text that makes no sense. I can't even read this myself on my thing, but I think it says like fashion boutique, and they've got some like bleach keychains at the bottom there, and they're selling them for $4. That's not good. That's bad. It's bootleg. Don't buy it. Yes. Question.
I actually have 2 questions. They're kind of dumb, but
Let's go ahead.
is that fine? Okay.
Yeah.
One is, can you tell if this is a fake wallet?
Oh, we really didn't want to do this.
Let's
This
do
is
that
not
after
the thing.
the
Yeah,
panel.
we can come to you
Let's do
afterwards
this
and
after
take
the
a look at it.
Okay. And my second question is, can you tell by just the picture if it's fake?
The only way to do that by just the picture is if you recognize it as fan art or not official art.
Sometimes if the picture is good enough, you can tell that the quality is just not good enough to be real. With Japanese official merchandise especially, the quality is unbelievable. Like,
really
it
good.
is as sharp as you can possibly get usually. So if it is at all faded, choppy, discolored in any way, or not official art, those are really good ways to tell in a picture if it's
Or
not
maybe messed up.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean,
We'll get
there's
to that on the figures for
the
sure.
thing with bootlegs is that because they run so unchecked, especially in Florida, there's not really much incentive to make them look that official. So once you get enough practice of like actually looking at official merch versus bootleg, it'll be fairly easy to identify.
I want to talk about the second picture here real quick because I feel like I heard a couple giggles here. This is Mia from Monster Musume. She's a Lamia, a giant snake. This one really, really, really upset me because this is an item that I wanted the real one for. This is a Comiket exclusive from, I want to say last winter Comiket. They only sold about 300 of them, and it is a 7-meter long body pillow. They sold for, I want to say, when you convert to dollars. Yeah, it was a little over $300, and they sold out like that. You had to wait all night to get them. And seeing this here hanging up for $150 in, excuse my French, piss poor print quality, really, really got me angry. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm taking a picture of this. This is going to the panel.
That's probably the worst one.
We do have another slide for this. The one on the left is from the same one that was selling those bad wallets. These are like weird, like almost cloth buttons.
Yay.
The texture was weird. Those don't exist. Don't buy those.
Fan art.
Yeah, they were all fan art. The Love Live fellow here was fan art. I felt a little bad for this one because these people were obviously selling their own art too, but they had a couple free things here that were fake. There's a Miku one to the side of the Love Live one. Just bad things. All right, this wraps up the miscellaneous thing. Anybody else have a question before we move on to the big one, figures?
Anybody down there? All right, let's move on.
All right,
Figures.
so figures are the big one. This is where most of the bootlegging money is made. It has the highest profit margin, and to me, it is the most upsetting. If anybody is interested in finding my figure collection page after this, I'll let you know. But I look at mine and I get depressed because I go, man, I probably could have had a house. But you know, it's whatever.
But you can display your wives.
Exactly. So it's hard to balance that. But the number one thing with figures is do your research. It's really easy to do with your phone. First bullet here is check myfigurecollection.net. I'll do a little not cool transition at all. I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but myfigurecollection.net, if there is a known counterfeit or bootleg version of a figure, you can look it up, and there's a really cool link at the bottom in red that says counterfeit. You click that, and it will show you pictures of known bootlegs. So you can look at your phone, look at the thing in front of you, look at the phone, and be like, yeah, no, that's not real.
Every single person in this room that is at all interested in figure collecting or is already in the process of doing it, do yourself a favor and make a My Figure Collection account. It'll take you 5 minutes, and you will learn more about action figures in 10 minutes on that site than you can learn anywhere else. So it's a really good resource to have.
It is an incredibly good resource. The people there are such giant figure fanatics that they really, really care about this stuff, even more than me, which is kind of gross. But, so the other one, this is in a very similar vein, is Good Smile Company. They're an umbrella corp for a lot of figurine makers.
Umbrella corp, really?
Yes, they're an umbrella corp. Umbrella corporation is a real thing.
Puke all over the front row.
Anyway.
Splash zone.
So they make Nendoroids, they make Figmas, they run Fat Company, which makes some great 1/4 scale girls in bunny suits, if that's your thing.
Is it your thing, sir?
Max Factory.
Max Factory, yeah, they have several of them. Their website and their employees are really, really big on killing the bootleg menace. They have a link on their front page. Once again, I wish I had a picture. That's just like the newest bootlegs. Sometimes they'll even post the bootlegs before the actual figure is out. Follow them on Twitter if you aren't sure. Check out their page if you know it's supposed to be a Good Smile Company figure. Or if you aren't sure, you know what? You can even tweet at them. Mamitan, she used to be a super cool figure blogger, and she was just so hype about it that she managed to talk to the CEO of Good Smile Company at Anime Expo, and then got a job as their English and Spanish speaking rep. And she is all about killing these. So tweet at GSC Mamitan on Twitter if you aren't sure, and she'll probably get back to you immediately. Next up is know who you are buying from. I made this joke in our run through last night. I wasn't sure if I should do it here, but if you see a store named animeshop.ru,
Yeah.
a little dubious. Do your research, Google the name of the store, look for reviews, see if there's good reviews, bad reviews, medium reviews. Use your head here.
This also goes for, as she was asking about, on the convention floor. Most dealers will have their name somewhere on the booth. Do your research, look them up, see how reputable they look. If you're skeptical about something and you look them up and they look, pardon my French, shady as heck,
Shady.
then you might want to think twice about buying from them.
Yeah.
Because also, believe it or not, bootleg storefronts in Florida are a very, very common thing.
We went to
And they're
an
gross.
unnamed mall in Altamonte Springs, right outside of Orlando, and went to an unnamed anime store, and in a mall, because we were super excited that existed, and we were equally as depressed to find out that probably over 90% of the things they were selling were bootleg.
Not to mention bootleg, but egregious bootlegs and
bad
way
ones.
too expensive to
Yeah.
be sold as bootlegs.
So be careful,
Yeah.
Google it, find out where you're buying from. And the other one, as far as research is concerned, is look for the manufacturer's logo on the packaging. No self-respecting figurine company is going to make a figure and not stamp their name somewhere on the box.
Yes.
Question.
For stores that sell like the fakes and whatever, like the official stores that are in malls, we have one where we live too.
Where do you live?
And like most of
South
them-
Florida.
South Florida. Most I'm not joking. Almost all their stuff is fake. But
It's
like
disgusting,
how are
isn't it?
they
Guys,
allowed to do that?
I hate to say this, but Florida in general is
Bootleg city.
Yeah, it really
is the
is.
worst state in the country for bootlegging. Official companies like Crunchyroll and Good Smile straight up refuse to come here because we are so notorious for bootlegging.
Yeah, I actually
And that is
every time I
depressing.
go to Anime Expo, I talk to the Crunchyroll's lead of events to see if I can get them to go to Metrocon because it's my hometown con. I care about it. I think Crunchyroll would make it better, and they're always just kind of like, we talked to them, but we aren't sure.
Yeah.
And that's a big factor.
Yeah. And your question as to how they're allowed to get away with it is because
They aren't.
all of us allow them to get away with it.
People buy this stuff.
Anime is a very niche market, as you guys know, and the only way that we are going to essentially be able to fight back against this is if we ourselves, the weeaboos, we
do our
fight back
research.
against them. The Better Business Bureau is a good place to start. They have agents in every area, and they will send someone out to straight up look at the store and basically report them to the government.
Question real quick.
Yeah. For companies, the one I usually
I
DFX or something.
think I
The
have
crane
heard
game,
of
the
it.
crane
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
Are they legit?
I think DFX, is that a US site and they just sell?
No, it's I don't have any of the boxes for it, but it's like
Are they a
crane.
prize figure manufacturer?
Yeah, they manufacture figures. They do a lot of the high-Q figures.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Those guys.
No, they're legit. Just
Okay.
look for the copyright. Look for
Yeah.
the copyright.
Okay,
That's
thank
it.
you.
And also those high-Q prize figures are almost always sold in box. So just make sure to look at the box.
Oh yeah,
they'll
I
yeah.
have my guy.
Prize
who goes to
figures
Japan.
usually, DFX is a smaller one, but Bon Presto and Sega, they're the two.
That's who it is, Bon Presto.
Yeah, there you go.
Those are
Oh,
legit.
my niche.
Bon Presto and Sega. Sorry?
Niche, small
I'm
Like
market.
Small market.
It's a small market.
Like weird.
There aren't a lot of us, but we care a lot and we spend a lot of money.
I single-handedly help people.
Exactly.
Thank
I
you.
think I spend more yen than I do dollars at this point. So, yeah. General tips: if a price is too good to be true, it's probably not true. It's a fact of the matter that Nendroids, they start retailing at like $30 to $40 and sometimes go a lot more expensive, especially now, as they add more extra parts and like cool faces to swap out. If you see a Nendroid for $15, even if it's not open box,
There's some egregious Attack on Titan.
oh yeah, we have a picture. Don't
Oh,
worry.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
What is it, Aaron?
good luck. Good luck finding an Android at $15.
What do you
It's
see?
probably not real. eBay is an absolute 100% last resort. Personally, I never buy from there because I got burned once, even though the person admitted it was legit. And more importantly, eBay is not on your side as a consumer. They make their money from the people selling. They don't care about you if you buy and get shafted.
We promised we were going to talk about Amazon US. Amazon US is a infinitesimally better resource for last resort purchases than eBay. If it is a prime item, nine times out of 10, it's legit and it's an Amazon-approved seller and they don't sell
Especially
figures.
for figures.
And they're shipping from the US, which is the only way that you can get something in 2 days.
Yeah.
So I have bought figures from Kotobukiya has a great Amazon presence. They're an official
They're a
seller.
great US presence.
Alter, Figmas, Nendoroids, any good smile product really.
So
They're
though, be wary of the cost. If it's super cheap on Amazon, it's still probably not legit.
yes, but usually 9 times out of 10, at least in my experience, and I've ordered a lot of shit on Amazon Prime. Sorry.
Did you forget?
Yeah, I've ordered a lot of stuff on Amazon Prime, and it has all been legit. So just keep your eyes and ears open, obviously, but Amazon US is a good last resort.
Now, before you use eBay, check out a website called Madarake. It's another Japanese website. They're a company who run a chain of pretty much anime and hobby-based pawn shops in Japan, and they weed all the stuff out, all the bad stuff out. They have some really, really cool stuff like 1950s Japanese Batman merchandise. Just the amount of crazy things on Madarake you can't even begin to
And
touch
they
in a
ship
3-hour-long
and
video.
they ship to the
Yes.
US and accept US credit cards. That's
Absolutely. Or you can even trade on my figure collection. If there's a figure you want, check out the page, look at the comments, see if anybody wants to get rid of theirs. Who knows why? I would never disband with a waifu like that. That's miserable. It pains me to say something like this, but honestly, avoid sellers from China, Taiwan, and Hong Kong. They don't have things in place to weed out bootlegs. They don't have consumer protection.
They also are where most of the bootlegs in the world come from.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a comment on that. My dad, he bought something on eBay from China, and
Probably.
there was this. Every time he checked his account, it kept on taking money out of his account.
Well, we weren't even going to touch on that, but I guess sometimes they steal your money too.
A lot of people order stuff from a website called AliExpress.
yeah.
Don't do that.
Do not
if you
order
want,
figures
if you
from
want, if you want to buy
AliExpress.
10,000 bouncy balls,
Yes.
AliExpress is a place
Great.
to
If
go.
you want to buy a
12
barrel of
million,
food,
yeah.
you can buy it from AliExpress.
Just don't tell us.
If you
We don't
want to
want to
buy
hear
a
about that.
sick Yoapeta cosplay, then that's a great place to start. But don't buy figures from AliExpress,
So,
please.
we need to start
Yeah.
screwing through here. Joints tend to be much looser on bootleg Nendroids and Figmas. Figmas especially are really great for posing. It can be kind of a pain in the rear to get them to go together and get them how you like, but that's on purpose so you can keep them in cool poses.
Yeah.
If the joint is loose, with one major exception being the robot Damashi line, they make a lot of really cool. I like the poor man's Gunpla. If you
Yeah.
aren't good at building,
If you like Gundam
models,
but don't like putting them together, they're great.
buy robot Damashi. They're
Yeah.
just hard to pose.
Another really good thing about jointed figures, some figure companies or figure lines like Rebel Tech and SH Figure Arts have ratcheted figure joints. Figmas and Robot Damashi and a lot of other lines have smooth joints. So if you buy a Figma and it has a ratchet joint, it ain't real. Or it's just some screwed up thing that
We're
someone
trying to
put
speed
together.
up here.
Yeah.
So shiny paint can be another good indicator of a bootleg, with some exceptions. Sometimes if you're buying something that's supposed to look like leather, it'll be a little shiny, but figures generally have a matte finish. You might see a little gleam of light, but other than that, shiny, bad.
Yeah.
We have some, this being our big section, we have some good visual indicators. I think I'm actually going to stand up for these, Mark, if you want to take the,
Yeah, I got you.
the arrow. I'm a teacher, I train for this. I'm not a teacher, I work in IT. So here we have the real one. Here we have the fake. There's a few things that should pop out to you guys immediately in that this one's hair looks good. This one's hair looks bad. This is a really pretty gradient. The mold is really cool. You can see the individual strands. This is like light blue, dark blue.
Not to mention the fact that the mold has sagged.
There's that. Her face doesn't look as cool. I mean, sometimes bootlegs might look a little cooler. That doesn't happen. You didn't hear me say that.
Her
Biggest
body
thing-
also looks completely
Yeah,
The
her body
body-
looks different. This has really good sculpting, especially in the torso. You can't really see the lighting here, but I own this figure. Take it from me. The big one, the big indicator on this one, especially for me, is look at the like weird wire vein things going to her gloves. These look really good, a really solid, like almost like rose red color. These are a disgusting pink, and they
Again, have sagged.
yeah, then you have the turbines. These turbines, they fit in the same place on every figure. You can't really adjust them without breaking the figure. They look bad. Next slide.
This is one of my
Here we have
This one.
here we have Kaneki-kun.
Yeah, and I Tokyo Ghoul fans, I taught him the word Kagane just
He
for
did.
this
He did.
panel, so
I'm sorry, I'm not.
appreciate
I'm
you.
not-
Call attention
hang on. To be
to-
fair, I called it Queen K first. I sort of
Yeah,
knew what I was
he
talking
screwed
about.
up.
He
He
fixed
doesn't know
it.
he's-
It's okay. I forgive you.
The immediate thing that leaps out here is the paint on the Kagune looks really, really cool here with that awesome black-red gradient, and here's red.
Yeah, I mean it's this is one of the more obvious cases,
Yeah,
but it's still something to look out for.
His like face is pallid and sickly. I realize Kaneki is normally like that, but even worse than normal here. Question?
I will say this though about this because I know this figurine very well. If you do not find that figurine for under $100, it is a fucking fake.
Yeah.
Pardon my French, but
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it
No,
goes,
you are a
that
panelist, you're
goes
fine.
on. I've seen that.
I got
'cause
it when it was released, and it was
It is
over that
expensive.
amount. Yeah, it's
All right, let's
it's
move to
nice
the next
figure.
one. Here, this one's kind of obvious. Figmas, you'd think they'd look
Shiny
a little bit
paints.
worse. Yeah, you'd think Figmas would look a little bit worse, being jointed and posable, but not this bad. This one looks really cool. The cloak is awesome. The paint is
We
good.
don't
The
even
swords
really
look
need to
great.
explain it. I mean,
Yeah,
you guys
why don't I
know.
explain
Yeah, we
this?
can
You
see
guys,
this one.
it's pretty obvious.
Honestly, in the
Good
best-
Smile Company doesn't put out bad things.
Yeah. Also, if you're at all skeptical about the sculpt of the joints on something, look up the official artwork. This thing,
Yeah.
this picture on the left is from the actual.
Good Smile Company has gotten better and better at hiding joints and making them look good. Look at this disgusting, like, Pinocchio Geppetto stuff here. It's not a real boy. Porumaru. Where do you even begin with this one? She's got a
What's
scene.
wrong with her face?
To use the official name, the thing that Umaru wears doesn't have a seam in it. This one doesn't have a face. It looks like her potato chip bag is painted on. Yeah.
Something you pointed out last night. Her Coca-Cola bottle in the bootleg is not
Not brand name
branded.
Coca-Cola.
It's not real Coca-Cola. Yeah, I mean,
the face is terrible. The hair looks miserable.
again, this is an especially egregious example, but these things, there are
They're real.
things that look like this out there.
Even worse than things looking like this, people buy them.
Yeah.
Don't let people buy them. Report these, please.
Don't-
Especially
don't
because
let
I think
friends buy
next up is the Vendor Hall of Shame once again.
Yeah, here we go.
These are here. I think you guys were talking about this one earlier. Yeah, this is the one that made me want to report
It
it.
was terrible.
One thing that I neglected to mention earlier about prize figures specifically. Now, those of you guys that don't actually know like what prize figures are at the top of your head, they are figures that you win out of crane machines in Japan or games of skill, something like that. And the really good way to tell if a prize figure is real or fake, because you'll see a lot of them being sold out of box, which is already something to be aware about. Look on the base or the bottom of the base. There will be a Sega or Bon Presto or something like that copyright notice.
Artifacts is a good
Yeah,
one too.
and if they're not, if they're not on there, then it's fake.
Right, we really need to speed through this now. So places to buy legit, it's largely the same as the first places to buy legit slide, with a few notable differences. Hobby search, it's got a weird URL. It's 1999.co.jp/ENG. Great place to buy Gunpla. Excellent place to buy Gundam plastic models. Monterake, we mentioned that briefly before. Really, really good for really weird stuff that you aren't going to find anywhere else. If you feel like you need to go to eBay for something, check Monterake first. Hobby Link Japan is an excellent place to buy exclusives. Some companies are very, very finicky with the licenses that they give out. Kyoto Animation especially. They only let like 1 or 2 companies sell their figures, and unless you have an address in Japan and a way to like spend money with your bank account in Japan, you have to go to a website like Hobby Link Japan or Big in Japan to go through them and use them as a proxy. Big in Japan especially, if you find a place that won't ship to the US, you can spend 500 yen, which as of right now is like $4.90, and they ship it to you. You use their address and they forward it to you. You have to pay shipping twice, but that is a very, very small price to pay for an exclusive.
Amazon.co.jp, same thing. Ami, if you like to pre-order figures, they're the best place to do it, period.
I
And
can't
they do
remember the
not-
last time I had less than like 25 pre-orders a year on
and
Ami.
they don't charge you until the
Until they
figure
ship.
ships. So.
All right, this next one is kind of a weird one and very, very niche, but we wanted to talk about it. Anybody here know what a garage kit is?
Yeah.
I can tell you've been nodding a lot. You know your stuff. So a garage kit is another Dojin item where somebody really likes a character, really likes a costume, and they go into their workshop and they mold it themselves. Really cool. As an American, it's really, really almost impossibly difficult to get a kit without going to Japan and going to one of the conventions where they're sold. There are ways to do it. You can buy them secondhand on like Yahoo auctions. You can one way that I've done it is actually message the creator, be like, hey, I'm an American fan. I'm sorry I don't have enough money to go to Comic-Con, or One Fez, but I bet I have enough money to get you to send me one. And sometimes they're really nice and do that. Question, really quick.
Okay, another stupid question, but can you tell the difference between like a fake plushie? Is there a fake plushie?
I'll talk to you after that.
Yeah,
Talk to us
come
after
up-
the panel. Yeah.
Okay.
The other thing is, this is actually my garage kit that I got while we were in Japan. That is the best way to get garage kits. There is no
Go to
better way
Japan.
than just going
Super
to
cheap, just do it, no problem.
It is. I will tell you right now, if you are interested in purchasing a garage kit, it is a hellish process and is exorbitantly expensive.
And
If you don't-
super worth it. They're so cool.
Yeah, this figure, I bought it in Japan in February, and I just got it last week.
So yeah,
So-
kind of a process.
Yeah, it's a really long process.
The reason we brought this up in a bootleg panel is unfortunately there are people who steal these too. This is even worse than your Redbubble and Etsy, because people will go to One Fez and buy these super cheap kits because the creators sell them at a loss. They do it out of their love for the character, love for the hobby. They'll sell a kit like this for $30 and somebody will go stand in line to buy that kit, take it home, make a really bad mold of it, and sell it at literally 1,000 to 10,000% of the price, and the original creator makes none of the profit. There is one website that is especially terrible and notorious for this. That is e2046.com. If you buy anything from this, I will track you down Taken style and just game over.
Yeah.
They
And
are
we
the
double
worst.
Because, as you notice, if you're looking at this,
Yeah, look who
my
it is.
garage kit is on the front page.
They are the worst kind
As
of
someone that
people.
put in the work, it's disgusting, honestly.
Yeah.
It's like stealing deviant artwork or something and putting it on a T-shirt, but way worse because you're making money off of something that no one makes money off of.
Yeah, open floor for questions now because honestly,
We
that's
got
the end of our panel.
5
4 questions
minutes.
real quick. If you guys like this and you thought it was informative, we're trying really hard to make things like this, and we are on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Check us out, and our super cool, surprisingly cheap top-level domain name of .moe. I'm really, really proud of that. If you can't remember,
I'm impressed.
If you
if you
guys,
can't remember .moe, we do have .com.
if you guys search us on YouTube, just search Ono Anime. We are one below the top result, which is
Joseph
Joestar
going,
screaming
oh
Ono.
no. we can't be mad at that.
I'm totally alright with that. But yeah, we're Ono Anime. We have a really cool JoJo logo this
We
season,
do,
so
yeah.
check us out.
We also do have another panel, which is a lot more fun and not quite as informative, in this same room at 11 p.m. about Americans in anime. We have a really cool video clip. We ask you guys to choose whether you think they're good, bad, or ugly, keeping in the American tradition. So, yeah. Stay here for the
It'll
furry
be a
and
lot
the
louder
side.
and a lot more crowd participation.
Yeah.
So,
Any questions real quick?
yeah.
You, sir, first.
Yeah, I was going to ask about, so you're not trying to discourage people from making their own stuff. It's just
No, absolutely not. If you're making your own stuff with your own art, awesome, more power to you. Don't steal other people's art.
Yeah,
Print and
sell it.
Yeah, or don't take official art that's not yours and belongs to original anime.
Just specifically because I'm wearing a shirt.
Yes, I heard.
Faces from like Tier Public, the Yeti, those types of
That's
things.
another one where you have to be careful to make sure that you're buying from the person who made the original art. I see your shirt right now.
This is Coinbox. I went directly through Coinbox.
Yeah, so that's cool. No problem there.
Every single website that allows creators to sell their own stuff will also unfortunately create a forum for people to steal stuff and sell it. And you just gotta be careful. That's the only
Yeah, I
thing
went
we can
directly
say.
to Coinbox's page.
Yeah. Also, if you're skeptical, message the seller. And if they don't get back to you or send you some cryptic weird message, it's probably not. So
I love all the like Zoom Love Live stuff that you guys bought from Retro Psycho. They're my favorite shop here. They're
Oh,
great.
is that
I bought Retro Psycho is really cool. The owner's
Okay, good,
great.
because I bought a Kuroko's art book from them too.
You know, super legit. My favorite people here.
they're probably the most legit out there.
Yes, sir.
And what about for let's say more American style figurines and statues?
That's difficult. There are some companies that make those, especially last night, they said that they're making more Robotech figurines. That's a different panel, but that makes me want to vomit. But there are American
That makes me want to
figures.
vomit.
Kotobukiya especially is branching out and making American stuff. They have a really cool like 1960s Adam West Batman that's coming out. Just do your research.
They have a ton of comic book figures.
Yeah, the Shoujo
mostly,
series.
Yes,
like
Freddy
Asian
Bishop.
bootlegs are going to be of Japanese products specifically, because that's where like 99% of the figures in the entire world come from. But there are bootlegs of like American style action figures from companies like NECA and McFarlane's Toys, which is the biggest ones.
Yeah, I've seen some pretty
Yeah.
some statuettes.
Again, all the
American
same.
ones are, it's harder to tell because they don't always look official, but check the website. And once again, check for the copyright.
Yeah, it's basically the same rules apply. Just to make sure you Google it before you buy it.
Plushies.
Plushies.
Well, honestly, that one's weird because some of them are fan made or hand stitched, and those are really cool. But once again, look for a copyright. A lot of times they'll have like a cute little tag sticking out.
On the tag.
That also, a lot of the ones that I've seen in here, a really good way to tell is they actually have the tag like still on. Not like the little paper tag, but like the cardboard.
I want to say when you used to buy
tag.
Beanie Babies, but I don't think
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
On that, a lot of times you'll see companies like Aniplex, Funimation, a lot of Japanese companies do it. Just look for a logo, look for a copyright on the tag, and if you can't look on the like actual physical tag on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
What's your MSC? Your
My MC Yazul, Yazool. I'm a little behind Yazool. You can find me on my anime list as well, the same name. That's the name I've been using since like 2006 on the internet. Google it and you'll find some very embarrassing things. But stick to MFC and my anime list and you're fine.
All right, thanks.
I'm a little behind on that. I haven't updated it in about 2 months, but I'm still well over 100 figures.
Yes.
Just because I know you guys have a hard stance on bootleg, because I'm also a YouTuber for anime stuff. How is your guys' stance on streaming? City stance of
Streaming.
streaming anime?
Like, oh, use Crunchyroll, use Funimation. If you use Kiss Anime,
Oh yeah,
I hate you.
don't steal anime.
I love you,
Yeah.
and I need to hug both of
You
you.
can find 99% of
We can talk
anything
about
you
this
ever
later
want to
when
watch.
we aren't an official Metrocon thing, so I can use all the terrible words I can.
Oh no, I feel you. I'll talk to you right after.
All right.
this.
Thanks for coming, everybody.
I don't know who's next with the first Zoom making, but I think we're done here.